Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. Today I'm gonna compare Norway to Sweden. So you probably know that I'm half Norwegian and half German, but that's not important today. And I've been living in Norway for 9 years. But I moved to Sweden in August 2021, so I've been living here for almost 7 months. And that's why I want to make this video and talk about my experiences here and talk about if Norway and Sweden even are different or not. I can tell you that there are a lot of similarities between Norway and Sweden. We'll get to that in a minute. So Sweden and Norway are neighbor countries and they're both part of Scandinavia. And there are fewer people living in Norway. There are about 5 million people. How many people were in Sweden? I have to Google that. Just a second. There are 10.35 million people living in Sweden, so it's double. Double as much as in Norway. I knew there were more people in Sweden. I knew it. The languages are pretty similar, and I am speaking Norwegian here when I'm speaking to the people here in Sweden, and they speak Swedish. We understand each other, but it can be hard. There are some words that are totally different, and some words are very similar. And there are also words that are the same, but they don't mean the same. So that makes it even harder. I'm gonna give you some examples. So the word rolig in Norwegian means calm. But there's a similar word in Swedish, which is called roligt, and this means fun. So the meaning of those two words are totally different. But as I am half German, there are actually some words that also are similar to German. I know I'm supposed to compare Norway to Sweden, but I just want to put that in as a little fun fact. So this is actually an advantage for me because I also speak German. For example, the word fönster in Swedish means window, which in Norwegian means vindu, which is much closer to English, I realize now. So vindu, window, fönster means window in Swedish, and fenster in German means window. But in general, most of the words are the same, and they're just small differences. For example, if you say milk, it's melk in Norwegian and mjölk in Swedish. So that's why we can understand each other. And as I've been living here for 7 months now, I'm getting more and more used to it because I speak to people every day, especially when I'm working at the gym. The people in Sweden in general are very open-minded, and it's easy to talk to them. If you go to the store or something, they're almost always up to like a little bit of small talk. And I feel like it's the same in Norway, but it's different from city to city. In a big city, they're usually not really talking to each other if they don't know each other, and I think that's normal. If we talk about stores or like supermarkets and stuff like this, grocery stores, Sweden and Norway actually have some of the same stores, or at least have the same name, and they also have lots of the same products. And sometimes they even look the same, but they might have different names. For example, the chocolate looks almost the same. They're both yellow, but the name of it's different. In Norway, it's Freja, and in Sweden, it's Marabou. I really love chocolate, and I hope I don't offend anyone when I'm saying this. I really love the Norwegian chocolates, but I feel like they taste the same. Maybe now I just got used to the Swedish one, I'm not sure. I'm going to Oslo soon, so maybe I'm gonna bring some chocolate and compare them at the same time. Food in general here, or everything in general here, is cheaper than in Norway. And there are actually a lot of people in Norway who drive across the border to Sweden to go grocery shopping there because it's cheaper than in Norway. And during Corona, this was a problem for people in Norway because the borders were closed during Corona sometimes, and they couldn't go grocery shopping there. But you also have to keep in mind that people make more money than in Sweden. I can tell you that because I worked at the same company as a personal trainer and receptionist at Actic. I worked at it both in Norway and in Sweden because I have the same company, and I made much more money in Norway than in Sweden. But you have to keep in mind again that all the products here are cheaper. So there's a balance there, kind of. But also because people make more money in Norway, there are a lot of people from Sweden who moved to Norway in order to work there and get more money. And here I haven't really met any Norwegians, maybe one or two, but I think there are more Swedish people in Norway than Norwegian people in Sweden, which is kind of weird, but I just think Norway is best. I'm sorry, Sweden, Norway is best. I really miss Norway. So I've been living in 2 different cities in Sweden. Actually, I've been living in 3 different cities. I've been living in Norrköping, I've been living in Västerås, and now I'm living in Moa. And in all the apartments that we had laundry rooms, which we shared with everyone in the same building. And I gotta tell you, I don't like it. I hate to think about like other people wash their clothes at the same spot. And you always have to book a time and plan it ahead. And also you have to walk all the way downstairs and upstairs, and you have to get it, and then you have to be at home to clean all your clothes all the time. You can't just like put them in your washing machine and leave them there. Okay, I just had to stop myself right there because everything I said about the laundry room was too negative. And honestly, I'm just happy I have a washing machine that works. And there are worse things in life than a shared laundry room, honestly. And I mean, it comes with some advantages as well. If a machine wouldn't work, someone else would be fixing it and not me. Just to compare to Norway, I had a shared laundry room in Norway as well, but at that time I was living in a student dormitory, but I never had one in a normal apartment. I don't think shared laundry rooms are as common as in Sweden. The houses or the buildings in Sweden and Norway can be really similar. Most of the houses in Sweden and in Norway are made of wood, and they often have lots of colors like yellow or green or blue or red. And in Sweden, it's most common to have red houses with white windows, which I think is really nice. Those houses actually look really cozy, and I love that they have so many colors. It just makes the cities look much better than just gray houses or just brown houses or something like that. If I compare Oslo to Stockholm, I got the impression that Oslo has more modern buildings than Stockholm, but I really love the old town in Stockholm with the narrow alleys and the traditional buildings there. I don't want to talk too much about politics, but let's just talk really quickly about it. So both Norway and Sweden are a parliamentary democracy and also a constitutional monarchy, which means that they both have a prime minister, and they also both have kings, and they both have castles, which I think is kind of cool. I've actually been in the castle in Oslo. It's not really like a fairy tale castle as you imagine. I mean, at least from the outside, it looks like this. And the Swedish one in Stockholm looks like this. So as I said, I didn't want to talk too much about it, but let's just leave it there. Norway and Sweden, I think they're really similar when it comes to politics, but I'm not 100% sure. Another thing that Norway and Oslo have in common is that there's a lot of beautiful nature. I think Norway has more of the fjords and places where you can go on like steep hikes where you just go up, and then you have a beautiful view. I mean, I haven't been exploring that much in Sweden yet, but I don't think that there are a lot of fjords here. But I think both people from Sweden and from Norway are very active, and they love to be in nature, outdoors. And if you visit Norway or Sweden, if you go further north than I am right now, you can see the northern lights in the winter time. And I still haven't seen it. I've been living in Norway for 9 years, but I've mostly been living in Oslo, which is too far south. And I've never seen the northern lights. So I hope I will see it someday, because I think it's really beautiful. I heard. We can talk about the weather as well. The weather in Norway and Sweden is also really similar. I mean, obviously there are neighbor countries, so I don't think there's lots of differences. But it depends where you are in the country. If you're further north, the winters are of course much colder and darker. The thing in Norway and Sweden is that in the winter it gets dark really quickly. Here and in Oslo, it's about around maybe 3 or 4. It turns dark already. That's why the winters can actually be a little bit depressing sometimes. There are some days in the north, I haven't been there, but I know that there are some days where there's no sun at all in the winter. There's a lot of people who think there are no summers in Sweden or Norway and that it's just cold the whole year, but that's not true. I mean, again, it depends on where you are in the country, but when I was living in Oslo, the summers can be really warm and there are people going swimming in the ocean and stuff like this. It's not like it's winter all year long. All in all, after this comparison, you can tell Norway and Sweden are pretty similar in a lot of things. And I feel very safe living in both of the countries, except that in Sweden, Alex and I experienced that people are stealing stuff. We had a scooter that got stolen, and Alex had a jacket, an expensive jacket that got stolen. But I think we were just unlucky, and I think that could happen in Oslo as well if you're not careful. Personally, I like it more in Norway, but this is just because I've been living there for more years and I'm more comfortable there and I understand the language more. But I could also picture myself living more years in Sweden if I have to. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you like this comparison. If you have been in Sweden or Norway and you noticed any other differences or similarities, please comment below and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!